I'm giving myself like 20 minutes to record this because I have work tomorrow and it's like 10 o'clock at night. So let's go. Cheer Up, Love and PomPoms is a graphic novel telling the story of an LGBTQ high school romance. It was published by Oni Press in 2021, written by Crystal Frazier, illustrated by Val Weiss, and lettered by Oscar O. Jupiter. Hey, editor me coming in to say that Oni Press also published Mooncakes, which is a comic that I think has a similar tone and overall vibe, although it is like a supernatural romance. But I have a video talking about that on my channel too, so you can check that out after this one if you want. Just as a little aside, found that out when I was looking up the Oni Press website. Back to the video. As per usual, there are story spoilers ahead, so you've been warned. I'll try to post a spoiler warning right now or before the video actually really started. Alright, let's get into it. Cheer Up follows the senior year of high school students Annie and Beatrice, also called BB, as they deal with social norms, coming of age drama, and a slowly blossoming romance between the two. Annie and BB used to be best friends, but the previous year, BB joined the cheer squad, had a glow up, and became overwhelmingly busy between schoolwork and extracurriculars. This left Annie feeling shut out and maybe a little bit shunned in her already alternative-oriented mindset and sense of self within her community. She's a little bit rock and roll.
I don't know, I like a little edge and a little pop in my hair.
Since then, the girls had a bit of an unspoken falling out, losing touch with each other as BB drifted more into popularity, and Annie became a smart but standoffish loner. Over its 128 pages, we follow the girls as they rekindle their friendship, and then some, with cheering being a large part of what brings them together. Annie is smart but antisocial, with no extracurriculars to include on her college applications. This leads her to being pressured by her mom to join the cheer team, with her mom having many fond memories of her own years of high school cheering. Annie's both surprised that her mom was a cheerleader and utterly against becoming one herself. She has beef with members of the cheer team before the book even begins, and preconceived notions about cheerleaders and the presumed clique that they're a part of.
No offense, Will. We're not running a loser outreach program.
But there is no rule that says Ron can't try out.
Check your calendar, this is not Befriend a Loser week.
Over the course of Cheer Up, Annie starts to show how much she cares about the people that she forms bonds with, regardless of her nihilistic and rowdy persona. She's not afraid of being loud, crude, or physical in the name of protecting someone. We also see that Annie is a character that often acts before she thinks, and this is especially true with BB. Annie learning to curve a bit of her bite and take a moment to step back before reacting becomes an underlying change for her character within the story. BB is constantly trying to balance her schoolwork, cheerleading practice, and social life in order to gain her parents' trust and respect. She's a people pleaser and afraid of disappointing those she cares about. At the same time, BB is also trans, something that her parents are not outright against, but having a hard time adjusting to. They're overbearingly protective, while also convinced that taking away aspects of BB's transition or ability to dress in a feminine way are appropriate punishments for her spiraling grades.
Are you serious?
We learned that BB came out as trans the previous year prior to joining the cheerleading squad. Because of this, there is additional pressure to conform to societal norms as she's thrust into such a high-profile position within the school's hierarchy. This also lets us know why she's so close to the cheer team and why cheering as a sport means so much to her. The cheer squad were some of the first people to really accept her, and they were some of the first friends that she made after coming out as transgender. On the surface, BB and Annie work really well as foils to each other, one loud and the other a bit softer, one smart with people and the other with books. At the same time though, these are their surface level characteristics, how they fit into the stereotypical high school groupings. Once Annie is a cheerleader, she and BB are finally able to spend more time together again. The girls bond over school and activities, both being able to rekindle their friendship and be a bit more candor than they would typically with everyone else. I also think it's worth noting that we see just how lonely the girls are behind these personas that they've built for themselves and how much they did need that level of connection. Although BB is popular, she's also isolated in her identity and excluded from social gatherings by others she considers friends. Annie is alone by choice, but that isolation has left her without connection during important formative years of her life. Annie also gets BB to come out of her shell a little bit and step away from the idealized trans girl persona that she's been feeling compelled to live up to. It's an impossible standard since everyone is different, has different expectations of her, and it's just been this pressure that's been weighing on her over the past year or however long.
I'm trans, Norma. and everyone at school knows, and everyone at home knows, and being here, it's like a whole new place. I can just be Barney, and I can choose if and when I tell people. Pugsley reminded me how important it is to live your life without apology.
Bibi even confronts her parents, and Bibi and Annie are able to overcome a creepy guy who's been hitting on Bibi throughout the story, very much giving Ben from Heartstopper.
Go on. Piss off.
Likewise, Bibi influences Annie to take a step towards being friendlier and less reliant on her spiky quips.
Awesome! Oh wow! Like totally freaked me out, I mean right on!
I transferred from Los Angeles. Your school has no gymnastics team. This is a last resort.
This leads to Annie becoming friends with the other members of the cheer squad and ultimately having a fun, socially engaging time for her senior year. The bond between Annie and Bibi eventually develops into a relationship beyond friendship. It's a little awkward, but they are teenagers, and it's overall very sweet. I liked the small interaction in which Annie reassures Bibi that she's interested in her because she's a girl, as Bibi had been feeling gender dysphoria prior to that conversation. While Annie states that she's a lesbian outright, Bibi doesn't identify with a specific sexuality within the story. She mentions being unsure who she's interested in, but regardless of gender, she is interested in Annie because it's Annie.
Everyone looks at other girls all the time.
But you only assume that they're thinking what you're thinking when they look. But they're not.
Bibi doesn't specify sexuality, but my biased take is to see her somewhere on the ace spectrum, most likely demisexual. I have no evidence to back this up, it's literally just vibes. Hello, it's editing me again. I'm just coming here to say that I confuse demisexual and demi-romantic. I more specifically meant demi-romantic. I apologize for saying it wrong, but I was more so talking about like the emotional side of their relationship. I don't know if this makes sense. I just feel like I said that wrong and I wanted to fix it and specify what I meant.
Demisexuality is a sexual orientation where individuals only experience sexual attraction to someone after forming a strong emotional bond with them. And similarly, demi-romanticism is a romantic orientation, where individuals only develop romantic feelings for someone after forming a deep emotional connection.
There is another character as well. They're a side character who appears as part of the cheer squad. I don't believe they ever state their gender directly, but they state a discomfort with traditionally feminine attire and attributes. They also look up to Bibi, who was a large influence in their choice to join the cheer squad. Overall, I really liked a lot of what Cheer Up had going on. I think if I read the book when I was younger, it may have gotten me interested in cheering. They just make it look like a lot of fun. I didn't really pay attention to it when I was in high school. Additionally, the representation in the book was also a big draw for me to check it out. I think they do a pretty okay job bringing up a lot of different ideas and opinions without it ever being superfluous. I'm not the pinnacle of opinions for writing representation in media though. I'm sure there are those with much more knowledge that have much more to say and more eloquently than anything I could possibly post to YouTube.
We tell stories about magic and outer space and mythical beings. Witches, androids, and vampires make up 0% of the population, but nobody calls this overrepresentation.
It's also nice to see cheerleaders be portrayed in a positive light, since it is a sport that a lot of high school girls participate in. While the mean cheerleader is a fun character type to use and poke fun with, and it's not entirely excluded in Cheer Up, I do think personally that traditionally feminine activities tend to be combined with negative traits often associated with female characters. That may just be me pushing my opinion a little bit too much, but like, not every cheerleader needs to be Kim Possible, but it's nice that Kim Possible is a cheerleader. In a similar but different way, this probably won't surprise anyone watching because I'm recording this alone in my room at 10 o'clock at night, but I was definitely more of an Annie in high school than a Bibi. I didn't really have friends, kind of kept to myself and made an effort to graduate without causing much stir. I still find myself struggling with socializing and making friends, and I'm almost 30, so it always makes me a little happy to see characters that remind me of myself when I was younger, engaging, and actually enjoying high school. Looking back, I wish I could have enjoyed it more, but yeah, that's not what this video is about. Moving on. Cheer Up is a bit campy, idealistic, and in some ways very much giving 2010-ish Tumblr. But that isn't a bad thing. I think the comic has a good idea of what it is, and Crystal Fraser never writes it into something that it isn't. The art is also nice, having an upbeat vibe and nice color palette. Cheer Up, Love and PomPoms also won the Outstanding Original Graphic Novel Anthology Prize for GLAAD Media Awards back in 2022, so that's definitely a plus that I wanted to mention and highlight. Congratulations to them. I think you can tell how much the author, Crystal Fraser, wanted to discuss the trials and tribulations that a transgender teen might face in the modern world. It's a nice story with a good heart. I always write that into the script and then I never say it right. I genuinely enjoyed Cheer Up, Love and PomPoms, and I would say it's worth checking out if you think you'd be interested. Have you heard of this comic or maybe read it before? Let me know what you thought. I've done a couple of reviews on high school LGBTQ romances, but the first video that I ever actually posted on this channel, or the first real video I posted on this channel, I think would be the most similar if you're interested in checking it out. It is about werewolves too though, so it's not really that similar, but it is about like sapphic teenagers. Anyway, actually there is a page in this. Annie mentions how cool werewolves are, that she wants to look like a cool werewolf, so I'm never gonna escape them. But yeah, alright. Anyways, let me know your thoughts and feelings, and I look forward to uploading something else eventually. I am working on a video about First Kill, but it's not going well. So I'll post that whenever I have it done. Yeah, thanks YouTube. Have a good night.